Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. And this is the live show. Earlier, you guys probably watched our podcast where we were not live, and we discussed a whole host of issues. I hope you checked it out. And if you don't, go back and check it out after we leave here. But I like to start by saying that the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. Also, once again, thank you, Donovan, for being here. I'd like to say a big giant thank you and hello to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, also known as X. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you just viewers, but we consider you family. And we do share a link from time to time for y'all to come on here and voice your opinion. All I ask is that if I've never seen you on here before, please show me your face so I can verify that it is you. If you're going to use a picture, of course, in lieu of you live and in living color per se. Also, if you do not have anything pertinent to add to the conversation, please do not click this link. And I say this every time, so hopefully I will do all right with that today. What else do I want to say? Okay, we're going to talk about Kamala Harris. Says she is ready to be president if Biden is deemed too old to continue. So, of course, you guys know by now there's a lot of conversation around that. Who came on here so far before I give it to Donovan? Got don't need no man. Stop telling me I do. How you doing? Trish, how are you this fine evening? Tia Truth, how are you? Yes, you are back. Tracy, how are you doing? Easy E, what's going on? Black America. You say ain't nobody gonna vote for her. Oh, Lord have mercy. And before I give it to Donovan, I want to make sure that you guys are, let me get this, in the know of our show tomorrow. Let me put it up here so you can see it in case, you might want to say something. I don't know. But anyway, our new show tomorrow with Love, Demetra K, on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Central Time. Of course, you guys know that we used to do Wealth Wednesdays. Walter seems like he is a little bit busy, and he will pop in, I'm sure, from time to time to help us with this subject. And as you can see here, it says Wednesdays is getting a makeover with Love. Wednesdays is coming for all our love and relationship needs. If you are looking for love or want some advice, we want to hear from you. So there's an email down there at the bottom, ilovedk@gmail.com. If you guys want to submit an inquiry, if you will, say, hey, I'm interested in coming on the show, or I'm not, interested in letting anybody know who I am, so I want to do it anonymously. And so we could do that as well. If you send an email and you want it to be anonymous, just please make sure that you say that. In fact, I won't even mention your name unless you say it's okay to do that. So we want to talk about a plethora of things, whether you are single and looking and you want to get up there and say, hey, my name is such and such, and this is my attributes. I'm looking for a man or a woman like this. I'm just putting it out there. Here's my information. For those who are serious, hit me back or whatever. Or if you have a question or scenario, you want us to all help you ponder or solve or something like that, we can do that too. I should say tomorrow that I do have one guest that is going to come on here. Not quite sure what it is she is going to tell me. I kind of like the element of surprise as well. So we are going to tackle that, and hopefully I get some more inquiries and scenarios, and we can go from there. So I think this will be interesting. I should say that I'm doing the show because y'all asked me to, okay? It is, y'all asked me for years, and so I'm finally going to acquiesce. Yeah, I think tomorrow's Valentine's Day. What a great time to kick off that show. And so anyway, I'm just reading y'all comments. Donovan, what say you?
All right. Welcome, you guys. Another Tuesday with Demetra K on her podcast. If you guys saw that, please go ahead and check that out. Do us a favor. You guys know the routine. You guys are co-hosts here. Scrolling banner at the bottom, that is a way where you can donate to the content creator 100%. So please go ahead and do that and know that your contribution makes the show go a lot farther. Also, do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get that on Google Play and Google Store. So you guys know how to do that. It's a great way to stay informed of what's going on in the African diaspora as a whole, because what happens over there also happens over here, and it works in parallel. So it's kind of good to know what is happening so that when you see it happening here, you'll know why it's happening in your area. A good example, I'm from California, here in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a prime example of what gentrification does and letting illegals come into your community and rob you of resources. Now you're seeing what's happening in other parts of the country when you guys sit there and include everybody. Everybody's not included in your community. So unfortunately, that's just how it is. So that's one thing we could do. Kamala Harris, very, very interesting. As you guys know, black girl magic. Woo, yeah, child. Woo, yeah, black women, we gonna do it. We the backbone, whatever. You guys overwhelmingly voted for Kamala Harris to be the vice president. You got Kanji Brown, you got Maxine Waters, you got Karen Bass, Sheila Jackson Lee, all of these vibrant, strong black women that are going to make everything right and smite our enemies and get black people in the right direction. Ha! You've got to be joking. Kamala Harris couldn't even win her own state. The only way this woman is going to be president is if this man gets reelected and dies in office. And I'm going to expound on that to why Joe Biden should not be given a second term. As you guys know, if you didn't get nothing in the first term, you damn sure ain't going to get nothing in the second.
Yeah. Hello to everybody that came on here. Oh, we're going to have a great show today and tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to it. How you doing, DSB? Brother Don, how are you? All right, so let's get into it. H. McDaniel, how you doing? Long time no see. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well. And those of y'all who celebrate, those you don't. I don't know. All right, so here we go. So I saw an article right before I came on here. It says that Kamala says that she is ready to do the job of the president if Joe Biden is deemed too old to do so. Of course, you guys know by now that Joe Biden, well, let's take it back a little bit. So he was under investigation due to being accused of taking classified documents from the White House. Of course, y'all know he's been in there quite a bit. And so when he, I think it's when he left during his vice presidency, that's where it came into play. And so the special counsel, Robert Hur, who was doing the investigation, deemed that he did not do anything inappropriate as far as mishandling the documents. But he did say that Joe Biden is an elderly man with a poor memory. He said he had a hard time remembering certain things, misidentifying certain people, and just a lot of things that I guess would make one question whether he has something going on, which a lot of people have said, yeah, it looks like Joe Biden has something going on cognitively, if you will. And so shortly after that article, expose, if you will, came out, he did a press conference and people were asking him basically, are you an elderly man with a poor memory? And he got kind of mad and pushed back about it. And, he didn't like that. And so it is said that there was a poll taken recently that 86% of Americans said that, they think that Joe Biden is too old. But 59% of Americans think that Joe Biden and Trump are too old to run, as Joe Biden is 81 and Trump is 77. Of course, it looks like it's going to be Trump to represent the Republicans, trying to get back into the White House. So actually, if you think about it, Joe Biden and Donald Trump are trying to stay in the White House or go back to the White House. Okay, so during an interview last week with the Wall Street Journal, Kamala was asked about Joe Biden's age, because of everything I just said. And she says, I'm ready to serve. There's no question about that. But of course, along with that, she says, but Joe Biden is fine. I sit in the Oval Office with him all the time, and I listen to him talk to world leaders, and he's asking questions, and they're calling him for advice and all that. Well, I don't think she didn't say she was doing all of that, Donovan. So they're asking, him for advice, and he, basically she's trying to make it seem like it was Joe Biden from 1970, like he's quick on his feet. I'll be damned, Joe Biden, but of course we've seen Joe Biden, and he's, I don't want to make fun of him. I don't want to come off as age-ish, if you will, participating in ageism. But yeah, if you look at Joe Biden, you could tell something is going on with him. He's not the spry guy he used to be, as it would be for a lot of people when they get older, right? Some people are saying maybe it's dementia or something along those lines. And so I want to play devil's advocate here. I want to switch it up a little bit. Why shouldn't Kamala go into the White House? Why is she not qualified to be president? Of course, we know that she ran for the presidency of the United States in 2020, but her campaign went over like a lead balloon when they ran out of money. A lot of people had complaints about her, saying that she doesn't know how to run a campaign. She's mean. She's this. She's that. And so that she had to drop out of the race. And then, of course, Joe Biden sopped her up like a biscuit and gravy. And now she is the vice president of the United States. So a lot of people saying, yeah, she's ready. You know, she's going all over the country and the world, and she's saying this and she's doing that. You know, she's really stepping up. So they're saying that she is qualified. But yeah, it's people of California who was not in love with her presidency. A lot of people will say differently. So I want y'all to, you know, basically convince me as to why Kamala is not fit for the job to be president of the United States. Donovan?
Well, number one, her record speaks for itself. She has a record of nothing being accomplished. What has Kamala done in her professional career? And this is me speaking, not Demetra, besides be a side chick. She's very successful in being a side chick. You know, started her career with Low Down, Willie Brown here in California. Montel Williams before him, Willie Brown, and she moved her way up. Cherie Peoples, she's in the chat right now, made a name off of locking up single mothers who did nothing at all other than trying to take care of their children, tried to make a name off of that. But legislatively, what has she done as a record? She went against the California Supreme Court and kept people incarcerated when they ordered her to release nonviolent offenders because of the overcrowding in jails. Kamala Harris was assigned on day one of the Biden administration to be the border czar. How is that working out? Anytime she's given an assignment, it's mass chaos. Her own staff, her original staff coming into the White House, and like you said, Demetra, even when she ran for president, it was total carnage within the campaign, mismanagement, infighting, and all that other stuff. And once she became vice president, same thing actually happened. It's so sad that our sisters are easily swayed by the sisterhood and the skewing, and you know, she could do the little dance and all that other stuff, whatever, but yet has uniformly done nothing for Black people in general, and you're going to need Black people to win the election. There was a poll recently taken that said that right now, after that press conference that Joe Biden participated in, overwhelmingly now 64% of the American people, Republican or Democrat, believe that Joe Biden is too old for office. But at the same time, if it wasn't for that press conference, Kamala Harris is universally more disliked than Joe Biden. So they're at a crux here on what they're going to do. If Kamala Harris, remains on the ticket, and Joe Biden gets reelected, the Democrats are going to have a little problem here. If you thought Obama being elected caused divisiveness in this country and made people who were probably center go more right and some people go more left, Kamala Harris being elevated to the presidency will definitely split the sides in the United States of America, in my opinion. So, but what do you guys think? I think it's going to be problematic because, again, 55 electoral votes in California, she can't even pull it. She cannot pull 55 electoral votes in her own state. It says a lot.
Absolutely. And so you said the Kamala is disliked more than that of Joe Biden.
Before the press conference.
Dislike, yeah. Well, yeah, no, she is disliked more, but I think a lot of that has to do with racism as well because people deem her to be Black.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. So I think that has a lot to do with it, but I think a lot of it has to do that, she's jiggling, wiggling, and giggling a lot, on national stages and international stages and things like that. So, just kind of throw some context in there. So I'm going to read these comments and I'm going to open up the link. Black America says because she want to be a Black woman married to a white man. Okay. And I also want to say, yeah, the sisterhood got behind Kamala Harris, but so did the brotherhood too. Brotherhood got behind Kamala.
Well, we thought we were going to get a turn. Yeah,
right. Let's see. Easy says, because she can't do anything just for black people. Use her own words against her. Oh yeah, I'm gonna use them every time every chance I get. The mirror likes me. Says all the racist stuff Jim Crow Joe did. No sympathy for his current suffering. Yeah, I'm just not one of those people that like to actively get out there and say that's what you get. Because one of my favorite quotes is there, but for the grace of God, there go I. Thank God it's not me. I think people, who have done, pretty nasty things to people, they've got the answer for it themselves, but it's not for me to shovel more dirt on the situation, if that makes any sense. Well, I also want to say, being forever, how you doing? You said you're in a hospital. For whatever reason you're in there, I hope it's not something serious, and I hope that you get well soon and get out of there soon. And Marcella, you say you didn't get the notification. I've been seeing that a lot. I don't get notifications either for channels that I follow, and I, hit the bell and all that. So I don't know if it's just a YouTube thing, but I assure you it's not something that I am personally doing. All right. So Malachi, how you doing? It says first election, we did it, Joe. Next election, we didn't do it, Joe. You crazy. And being forever, he says age requirements for president is 35 to 65 president. Same for vice president. So he says 65 as well, I know Joe Biden was older than 65.
Yeah, the minimum is 35, and you can go after that, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Right. And Tia, you say barely have we seen her? Yeah, you're starting to see more of her now, and I think it's because people are questioning Joe Biden's age and mental stability. So I think that's why they're like, "Hey, girl, you're gonna have to get out there and get on that track, make it do what it do." And Courtney, how you doing? By the way, he says Kamala has done absolutely nothing. All right, let me skip down a little bit. Trish, she says, "I'll be honest, I'm not well versed." I think he meant Vice President Kamala Harris, just like Biden. She has done nothing for black people. That alone disqualifies her in my eyes. I totally agree with you. But I like to play devil's advocate sometimes. Van Tran, how you doing? It says San Francisco District Attorney General of California, U.S. Senator, Vice President. Yes, she is very qualified. I think that's kind of the answer I was looking for. She has held some pretty serious prestigious jobs, if you will. I think she was the first, they said Asian American woman as the Attorney General for California. I think also the first senator, Asian American is what I recall reading as well. So she is very accomplished. And I always say this about Kamala. I don't think she's a dumb woman. I will never deduce her down to just getting on her knees. I think she had to have a little bit more going on for herself other than putting on some knee pads. So I never deduce her down to a dingbat. Now, is she qualified to do the job as president? I'm going to say this. I venture to say there's a lot of people who aren't qualified to do it. I think we also have to bring into the picture their team, because they all have cabinets here, there, this, that, and the other that help advise them to help them make a decision. So we have to look at that as well.
Right. I'm have to disagree with you in regards that she's highly qualified in that. Just because you were appointed to a position doesn't mean you're qualified for it. Willie Brown, when she started her career, appointed her to a board that you had to be a doctor to be on it, and she didn't even show up. So, yeah, she was Attorney General. Yeah, you have a law degree, but that doesn't mean you're qualified to be in that position. A lot of people got law degrees. Like I said, I'm just going to disagree with you respectfully on that. Just because you're in a position doesn't mean that you're skilled at. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that she couldn't occupy it or whatever. I'm just saying doesn't mean she knows what the hell she's doing.
So, and then, yeah, you will disagree because, Van put it up here, San Francisco District Attorney General of California, U.S. Senator, Vice President. You're not going to tell me she lucked up on all those jobs just because she knew somebody in high places. I don't want to ever begrudge her or anybody else who have worked hard to get somewhere. So I think that she is qualified, just like to say Hillary was qualified. Hillary was, I would argue that Hillary Clinton was more qualified because, she was there and had, I think, a pretty serious job where she actually had to make calls and, make decisions and things like that. But like, again, I never want to deduce Kamala down to just some, bimbo who bent over and knelt down to get where she's at.
Well, can I say this? There's been a lot of women who went the long route that were highly qualified above Kamala to be Secretary of State, to be in these positions, and somehow she skipped the line and jumped to the top. Again, I agree with you in what you're saying. However, how she got to the positions that she did, she skipped the line. And ladies, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but somebody got on their knees, and I think her nickname is Jawbone.
Yeah, well, you know what though? I'm gonna go ahead and say this too. There's a lot of men who benefit from nepotism who don't know a damn thing themselves, and let's keep it a buck because men would never talk about it. There's a lot of men that got on their knees, and you could call them jawbone senior or junior too.
Right,
Okay,
but we're in a patriarchy, so that's the way it was set up. Now
right?
go
Because
ahead.
y'all ain't gonna
Go
never
ahead.
admit to
Go
getting
ahead.
on no knees no damn where, huh? And Sheree, how you doing? It says her policy is so wrong. That I agree with. And I actually want, when I put the link in, I want you to come up so you know briefly tell people your interaction with that of now Vice President Kamala Harris. But I'm gonna play not with you, Sheree, but just here. I'm gonna sit up here and play devil's advocate because I just like to make it interesting.
Yeah, and for those that guys that are on the live, if you're watching even in the rebroadcast, go to Sheree's YouTube channel. She has a great channel where she's talking about different subjects as well. And again, we always try to promote each other's channel, to get that message out there. And like I said, she has a great message. And what was done to her by Kamala Harris, part of the sisterhood, was a travesty. And it was so sad because she showed up for the photo op when this lady was falsely arrested. It was a shame.
Edward, how you doing? Says she is Kamala Chameleon. She threw a lot of black people under the bus as the DA. That she did. That she did. Vanny say President Biden has Alzheimer's, dementia, signs of old age, and is not mentally well, so he should step down from his for his health sake and let Kamala take over. And I want to say we don't know that he has those things because none of that has been confirmed by him or a doctor, or nobody, right? So I don't want to. I want to say it's speculated that that may be the case with him.
Dimitri, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Would this piling on Joe Biden be attributed to ageism? Because a lot of people are starting to say that, it's ageism, just because somebody's older and maybe a little senior and maybe they forget a few things here and there, whatever the deal is, we're engaging in ageism. What I'm engaging in, this is a man who is a senior man who has his thumbprint on the nuclear codes. And if he can't remember, he was vice president between 2008 and 2016, I have a problem with that. So what would you think in regards to ageism versus what he's going through?
So I think there's probably some people who are participating in ageism, which means you discriminate against people because of their age. But I also think it's really an issue of people calling in the question, is he still qualified? Okay. I think that's the question. As far as him having his hands on the nuclear code, I know a lot of people think, oh, he could just walk up and push the button. There's a lot of other hoops of fire and measures and stuff that he actually has to do to be able to make that call, which is why they have the Joint Chiefs of Staff and, all these cabinets and advisors and stuff to really do some math, if you will, mentally before they do something like that. But I think it really is, people are just wondering, is he still qualified to serve another term? Because you think about it, somebody, I can't remember who it was, that says that, he's not going to survive another 5 years. And I think that's a real issue.
And I'm jumping the chat. Tracy Delgado says, isn't Martha Stewart the same age, but is sharp as a heck? Yeah, some people, it just affects people differently depending on, how they're active. Look at Donald Trump. He's only 3 years younger and he's a lot sharper, even though he's getting forgetful as well. But I think that's because of the court cases. And, and he's going about his business.
Yeah, and just because you're older don't mean that you're not sharper. I mean, because we know that when you get older, for whatever reason, certain things come into play, like dementia, Alzheimer's, and stuff like that. So, I mean, it could be that we don't know. I mean, there's some people who live to be over 100, and they go do some verbal and mental math with you as though they're 21 years old. So that's why I say I don't know if there's some people who are just hateful and make it about age, but I think a lot of people are like, I don't know if you should be up in the White House again. Maybe you need to be at Shady Pine somewhere,
Well, and doesn't this kind of convicts the United States in regards to the baby boomers and the silent generation not giving up enough power? Because let's face it, after this election, in the next 4 years, they need to start putting up new blood. And you got to think about it. Our generation, Generation X, we're going to be skipped over. We will never, in general, have power. Our generation will be completely skipped over as we go to younger blood.
Yes, indeed. Michael, you said Demetri and Donovan, what do you both say to blazing politicians fighting for cash payment reparations for foundational black American descendants of slaves? I think that's what you're saying while fighting for ages. Well, you know how I feel about that, my dear brother, is that black people got to fight for black people because we don't have what you guys have as Asians. So we need to fight for ourselves first to get what we need before we go try to help anybody else fight for anything. But I get what you're saying, but yeah, we gotta make it do what it do for us first. And Callie, seeing how you doing, it says doesn't matter who is president, they all sign executive orders for Agenda 2030 mandates. I think you were telling us about that before. Hello, Pastor Laura. How are you? I hope you're having a great day. Gail, how are you? Says Kamala is supposed to be overseeing the border, and we all see how that is going. Yeah, that wasn't a good look for her. And Tracy says she's qualified on paper. But then again, too, we got to think about the job specs. What is she expected to do in any one of those jobs? You know, as a prosecutor, your job is to do what? What's your job as a prosecutor? For one, it is to fight for justice, right? That uh you're supposed to fight for justice, but as a prosecutor, come on, let's keep it real. What do? Their job is to try to find your ass guilty. That's their job. So did she do her job? And you know, juxtaposition to that of a defense attorney. Defense attorneys, they try to get you off for whatever it is you're accused of, and prosecutors, they try to put you on the hook. I'm not saying that in defense of her. I'm just saying in defense of some of the jobs that she's done, if that makes any sense. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but I just want to bring some data, if you will. Arneva, how you doing? It says to qualify as president of the United States, you must take orders. I think she takes orders well. That is a good point. Hello, Common Man. How are you doing? I saw that you came on right when we were leaving the last time we're on here, but welcome, welcome. JJ says she was with downtown Willie Brown. Yeah, that is true. Okay, let's see here. And then I'm gonna open up the link. I just want to make sure that I acknowledge everybody because I hate to skip over people. Anita, how are you doing? Facts Not Feelings, what's going on with you? Says peace and love, family. Any black office who says I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people, no, is a person now is a person who is a gatekeeper to black people's progress. I totally agree with you. And Callie Singh, it says can't vote your way out of a banana republic. Good point. Bobby, how are you? Hi, Q, what's going on? He says unfortunately, that trick of the Democratic Party has always succeeded in the black community. Okay. All right. So let me make sure that I've acknowledged everybody thus far. And then I'm going to open up the link. Let me see. Bro Goo, you said, Demetri, you're right about what you're saying about Kamala and her accomplishments. But remember, she said, we're not going to do something just for black people. Her accomplishments benefits them folks. Yeah. Which is the other question that I have. Why do so many people vote for her?
Well, you mean when she was attorney general and stuff like that?
Nah, after she said I ain't gonna just do anything for black people. Now, how did she even get into the White House even with Joe Biden?
Oh, because remember the Democratic Party's mantra was Donald Trump was the boogeyman. That's why. That's pretty much how they got in. Mm-hmm. Now, and that goes into my next question. I'm going to ask you this: do you think the Obama effect would work in this scenario with Kamala Harris and, hey, I'm skewing, I'm identifying and doing all the black stuff, but I'm not going to do anything. Because the way I'm looking at it and the numbers that you're seeing, how black people are leaving and sitting out the couch and going to the couch and all that other stuff, and they're seeing in real time what is happening to them as the Democratic Party is attacking them. I just don't think that that's going to work, because even now, when you talk about Obama, it is so less effective because he did not do anything for black people. So you don't see Obama going to black churches. You don't see him doing those things because, he don't want to get booed and embarrassed. So in your opinion, do you think the Obama-Kamala effect will work in this cycle?
So Obama, Kamala, as far as Kamala and Obama being black and black people voting for them in that regards, no, I don't think that will work. Because I remember when Kamala was first running for president, they even before she ran, they were saying she's the second Obama. She's the second coming of Obama. They were literally saying that about her. I think there's some people who will probably try to do that, but I think a lot of people are now on to her. Because for one, she didn't serve in the same capacity as Obama. Obama president, her vice president. And I think that a lot of black people are like, nah, you ain't gonna get us again with that. And again, don't take my word for it, even though right now I'm playing devil's advocate. Take her word for it. She told you she ain't gonna do nothing specifically for you, but you've seen her do things, or say her and Biden's administration, because to keep it a buck, they say the Biden Harris administration, you've seen their administration do for everybody else but black people. So it's not that they can't. They don't want to. And I just understand they gave almost $100 billion package to Ukraine and Israel today. So they're giving away
Very
more
good.
money. Yeah, they're giving away more money than everybody else, but I ain't gonna do nothing just for black people now. So I don't know. All right, so let's see here. It's my pleasure, Bobby. And I'm gonna skip down. I do see you guys' comments, but I don't want to skip anybody. No reparation, no vote. How you doing? Thank you for reminding everybody to do a thumbs up. And Curtis, how are you doing? Long time no see. He says age has nothing to do with his fitness to be president. He's always been a oh, okay, got you. Idiot. I've never thought you could find anyone worse than him. Kamala said, hold my beer. Yeah. Biden was known as the gaff in chief, if you will, because he made a lot of gaffes, right? Gaffes, saying silly stuff, being so quick to speak. And it's like, oops, I shouldn't have said that, so I don't know. Tell her like it is. How you doing? You says, well, the Democrats had their chance to do the right thing and they blew it. And now the bill has come due. Yep, I totally agree with you. KP, how you doing? Says, I can't mess with that. Hell no. Okay. Michael, you said, Donovan, why would you initially vote for Obama in 2008? What motivated you to vote for him? So you're answering that in the comment section? No.
I voted for Obama in 2008 because it was something that never happened before in the United States. Most black people that you will talk to that were of legal age to vote voted the Democratic ticket and Obama because we saw for the very first time in our nation's history a man that has black skin that looks like me, you would think would have done something for my people, and he didn't, because I did not understand the fact that he had a different lineage, his lineage being that of Kenya. And he even admitted himself after his first term, hey, I know I didn't do anything for y'all, but if y'all get me in the second time, I'm gonna do better. Then he gets the second term, knowing he doesn't have to run for your reelection, didn't do nothing, which is very important to why this election, if Biden gets elected, don't expect nothing, because you would be dumb to reelect this man because he has no reason to give you anything. Zero. So that's why. If you talk to most black people, Michael, we had never seen anything like that before.
Absolutely. And Rock Bush, how are you doing this fine evening? You say in the same breath, she said, let's be clear, any policy that benefits black people will benefit all society. It says that's the quote. Then was it NBM? What is that? Should pounce on Jesus. Now I don't know what that means, but I mean, yeah. But before she said that, okay, I'm not gonna do anything that just benefits black people. Full stop. Anything that benefits black people, like what? What has she done? Because in one breath she says you're not gonna do anything for just black people, so that cancels out the second part of what she said. Anything that benefits black people will benefit all society. It should be. It would make more sense if she said anything that benefits everybody will benefit black people, which is what I thought she said, but I could be wrong. But she made it clear that she's not doing anything specifically for black people, but she's done specifically things for other people. So her administration, her and Biden. So I get what you're saying. I'm gonna put the link.
And isn't it funny? As an Asian woman, when she's time to be Asian, she made sure that they got a crime bill. Isn't that strange? She made sure she was not in opposition of it or anything. She made sure her Asian folks got a crime bill, or protection. They got federal protection.
Yeah, she was standing right there when Joe Biden signed it. So, Michael, how you doing? He says, Demetra K, homegirl, where are your Air Force Ones? I don't have no Air Force Ones. I do have a pair or two of Nikes, but none of them Air Force Ones. But welcome to the chat, nevertheless. All right, so let's see here. Easy says, and white vote put him in office. So you talk about Obama. And no reparations, no vote. He says, he got me as well. Yashawn, how are you doing? He says, I was just in Houston on my truck going Back to Cali. Shout out, y'all. You should have picked me up so I could go with you. And Marcella, you say, what if Biden and Trump dies before the election? Donovan, what will happen then if both of them die before the election?
Well, of course, automatically the vice president assumes control. We don't know who Donald Trump is picking for VP yet. It seems like Tim Scott is getting on his knees to do whatever he can to get the position. But the vice president takes over, and then you're going to see an even bigger divide. This is why I'm telling you guys, especially a lot of you single moms in our community, not trying to hammer on you guys or anything. You need to get something to defend yourself just in case, because this country is being separated more and more on each side of the fence.
Absolutely. Brother Reggie, how you doing? I hope all is well with you and your family over in Japan. And Easy says, D, you know, hitchhiking is a felony in Texas. Is it? Out of all the things that could be a felony here in Texas, hitchhiking, huh? Okay. Also, my daughter was telling me that they're trying to make it to where they're taking out the regular school counselors and putting in clergy people, clergy men and women, I guess. And all they need is, I guess, a 40-hour training to get a certificate to be a clergy. And so they want them to be talking to the students. And I'm like, that I would just take my child out of school. Okay. You're not going to be, because what if I don't, God forbid, believe in God, or I'm a, Muslim or Buddhist or whatever, then I got somebody, because obviously it's a Christian, state and nation, right? And they're talking to my child from that point of view. So yeah, they tripping.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put the link up.
I'm gonna put the link up right now, you guys. And Sheree, if you are still on, I want it's on YouTube. And maybe Donovan, I'll put it in the link right now. If you could put it in Facebook if she is still there. And come on and tell us your story about what happened with Kamala Harris. Again, if you have nothing pertinent to add to this conversation, or if you've been up here a copious amount of times before, let's give somebody else a chance to come up. Please and thank you.
Yeah, and I wanted to add this about the clergy, since we're talking about the clergy. In Atlanta, a bunch of clergy from different denominations have grouped together because they want to fight the disinformation within the Black community about the upcoming election. So you've got these clergymen, men of God. You're supposed to be in the world, but not of the world, right? And I'm not a Bible thumper and like that, but I do know that phrase. They are going to come together. These are Black clergymen. They are going to come together to make you vote for the Democrats, but they're not coming together to solve the homelessness issue within our community. They're not coming together to solve the addiction in our community. They're not coming together to build anything. $880 million in the last 10 years has gone to the Black churches, and they've built nothing. So I'm bringing that up because I want some of you guys, to understand. We've got these people in our communities, and instead of solving things that would really be beneficial within our community, they're going to sit there and talk to you about voting for the Democratic Party. This is why, the churches are failing, period.
Yeah. And Bang says, under Trump, their open racism continued lie. The right perpetuated under, so I think it meant like the right perpetuated under Obama. Why? And I always ask people this. I'm supposed to be playing devil's advocate, but I always ask people, why are we more concerned about the open racism than the covert racism? I mean, if you're gonna be a racist, I want to know that you were that. Please do not hide it. Come on out the closet. Let me know so I know how to deal with you, move accordingly, or whatever the case is. But it's also to assume that racism started under Trump or got worse under Trump. Did it get worse under Trump? Or just people feel, I would imagine, they felt a little bit emboldened and, more secure enough to come out with it. But I don't think Trump is the blame of racism, the open racism. I like open racism opposed to that of hidden racism. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Okay, so let's see here. I see somebody else new that came on here. Gloria. How are you doing today? It says, have you Trump supporters forgot that he's married to an immigrant? He may get rid of the Asians who are coming illegally. Why do you want to vote for him? I'm staying on my couch. Gloria Payne. I mean, for some people, they like Trump and what they benefited from under his presidency. And some people are staying on the couch. Yes, he is married to an immigrant, Melania. His agreement, he said he may get rid of Asians who are coming over here illegally. What's the problem with him getting rid of anybody who's coming over here legally? You can't go to somebody else's country illegally and stay. And they're talking about, I'm here. You're going to take care of me. They're going to say, no, you're going back on the next thing smoking. And some countries are going to be like, okay, well, while you're here, we got a little thing called prison that we need your labor. Like you get locked up, for doing that. So anybody who's not here legally, I think they should go back because the people that are here illegally, they are taking from Black people. Now I know Black America in here is saying, oh, what are they doing? Taking from Black people. I just know that it is. Anytime they get resources and they tell you can't get reparations, ain't that taken from you? So anyway, but long time no see. Thank you for being here. Curtis says, with crime bill, Joe and Trump up charges Kamala. Black people should have known better than to trust these ones in the first damn place. No, you got a lot of Black people talking about I'm voting blue no matter who. We're not voting for Trump. And y'all, right, I'm going to stick out my arm. I'm going to take, right, y'all better wake up. Y'all, they call you sellouts and all kind of stuff because you want to exercise a different choice and in regards to voting for somebody. It's just the craziest thing, but I guess. Bobby, you say vote the couch. Yeah, a lot of people are saying they're going to stay home with some good old popcorn or whatever. Easy, you say Donovan, the Dems gave them a bag to do so. It's amazing how they can pass bags around when they're in need. Oh, yeah, you better believe it. Money Rich, how you doing? Says she was sleeping on the job. Put more Blacks in prison than anyone. Plus, no Blacks can work with her in here in VP. Well, she did not put more Blacks in prison than anyone. It's not true. She did not than anyone. Now you want to maybe deduce it down to a state level and maybe even a local level. Maybe I don't know. That's arguable, but more than anybody got to remember, Kamala, I imagine, was in law school somewhere when those crime bills were being signed, and went forth. And I bring those up because the crime bills are the ones that actually has a copious amount of Black people in prison. And I would argue that was done under the tutelage of Joe Biden when he was a senator. He was the one that actually pushed at one point in time Bush Sr. and Bill Clinton farther. He says it doesn't go far enough. The crime bills that they were wanting to do. So Kamala didn't lock more Black people up than anyone. So I just want, put that out there. She did keep Black people locked up. And she did lock Black people up. But then there's some white people who say, yeah, she kept me locked up too. It was a man, I think he was doing life. And it was proven that he didn't do it. They had all the evidence. And she said, oh, you got to stay up in there because you filed your paperwork too late. Okay. So I just want to make sure we're being factual as much as possible. And heck, how you nah, no, I said that wrong. Well, how you doing? He says, that's why I'm not Luther King moved in the boondocks. People like Kamala. Yeah, they do, unfortunately. Pookie Bear, how you doing? He says, because either way, we get nothing. Y'all can't be this silly. Well, who is this y'all you talking about? Because, I put the link up in here if you want to click it.
Have you put the link in?
I did. I'm going to put it up in here again. And so I just put it up in there if you want, if Sheree is watching, she wants to come up and just kind of tell everybody her story. Let's see who else. And H. McDaniel says, I'm so sick of people calling Kamala Harris Black. She is not Black. Every time there is a public figure with darker skin, Black people are so quick to claim them as our own. That's the problem. Well, it's not even just they or them. Kamala calls herself Black now as well. So I think that's where a lot of it came from, because when she was in California, we mostly knew her as, Asian American. And you can go to and find, copious amount of articles of her being described as that. And when she was running, then we learned that she was, an alumni of Howard, and, she was AKA or whatever she is. And she identified as Black. So it's not people putting that on her. It's her saying that's what she is. Just want to be clear about that as well. Pookie Berry says, what policies is Trump advocating that will help us? We've gone over that a copious amount of times, but let me get to this, and then you can come on to the click the link if you would like. All I ask is that I see your face because I haven't seen you on here before. Tracy says the racism started picking up at the end of Obama. Right. I mean, they said more black people were taken out of here via police brutality under the Obama administration. So I love that we are all here so we could put the pieces of the puzzle together because I don't want to, even though I'm not a pro Democrat, not pro Republican either, I'm nonpartisan. I want to make sure that we tell the truth so that we can be more informed because I know a lot of people kind of go out there and stretch. And say things that are not true. I don't want to be a part of that. So thank y'all for helping us put the pieces of the puzzle together. All right, we got Van. I'm gonna bring you to the stage. I got you. Just give me one moment, but welcome, welcome. Okay, so let's see here. Black America says yes, it got worse under Trump. Okay. All right, let me skip down a little bit so I can catch up. TEW 1970. How you doing? It says racism is a set of system, not a person. And this is why, oh, I'll put you on mute. This is why nothing has a economic change as a result of getting him out of office. You're absolutely right. Racism is a system. It's a social construct, if you will, something that is made. So like you're saying, it's not attributed to a person per se, although they can be racist, if that makes any sense. Edward says the racism never left. Yeah, it's been here since we've been here, right? And Don Royal, how you doing? Says, what about Biden eating fried chicken with family? Well, I didn't. Oh, you talk about when he went to North Carolina. I don't know if he was eating fried chicken because I think I covered that story. Yeah. I don't know if he was eating fried chicken. Somebody had some chicken nuggets, but it wasn't that he was sitting up there gnawing on the chicken bone and the watermelon and stuff like that. He did what most presidents do. They go and sit down with a family. You know, they're pandering for voters, what it is, but to make it seem like he was sitting up under a bright, exactly, Bill Clinton on Arsenio Hall, to make it seem like he was sitting up under a bucket of fried chicken, that just simply was not the case. So I just want to put that out there. All right, give me one moment, man. Let me try to get down these comments because I do not want people into the comment section think that I am ignoring them. How you doing, Bakari? Thank you. And Darren, how are you doing? Says both candidates are trash. Buck Horse, how you doing? And Shirley, how are you? Says they finally got the message that Biden has dementia. I don't think anyone wants Kamala no more than they want Biden. They don't know yet because it hasn't been anything official to come out that Biden is suffering with that. But I'm sure in time we'll know for sure, right? Hanifa, how you doing? Says hi from Chicago. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you are doing well. LG, what's going on with you? Says amazing is selling out of tiny home Amazon rather selling out of tiny homes as low as 10,400 a month. People on TikTok are showing them off. You just need land. Yeah, I did a story and it came out on African Diaspora News Channel today talking about that. Very interesting. Okay. I think I got down. Pookie Berry says, I don't have nothing but I don't have time. I'm not being mean. I'm just tired of us getting played. I'm getting tired of us being played too, which is why I'm saying what I'm saying. Man, I'm gonna put you on mute for just 1 second. I got you coming up. Got you. All right. King Shaw, how you doing? Says Trump gave us stimulus checks. And Biden didn't with his stingy ass. Well, he gave us something. It was a tail end of what Trump gave. Easy says, I remember racism during Obama. That's when it really started. Okay. I think, and Gail says Kamala is black and then only Asian when it benefits her. She plays many sides and I cannot respect it. There you go. All right. Jay Bubba says, here we go with the Democratic shields with the what about isms again. Undisputed Truth, how you doing? It says, is Democratic Party so afraid of the immigrant Hispanic caucus that they will sacrifice the election? Good question. And Michelle, how are you? All right, brother man, take it away.
Hi, good evening. How you doing, Miss Demetra Donovan? Thank you for inviting me. Your afro looks lovely, Demetra. And hey, Donovan. Hey, Donovan. When you got your that other timeshare in the DR, remember you got to play nephew to invite down there. Okay. Okay. First, I want to say, trust me, I'm not one to be totally on one party or the other. I know originally the Republican Party was our party with the Lincoln Republicans and the Reconstruction congressmen, but that Republican Party was different from the Republican Party for the day. So those Republicans now who are more on the nationalist anti-reparations platform who say, oh, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. He was a different type of Republican, and the people that was Republican black senators then were different. their platform was different from the Republicans of today. Basically, the Republicans, the racists from the Democratic Party back then got put out and ran to the Republican Party. So the Republican Party has evolved. So that's a false comparison when they try to throw that shame on black people for the most part for not voting Republican, unless you feel, oh, I'm a nationalist, I'm educated, I have money, so I associate with the Republican Party. It's those kind of blacks. But the main blacks that they put on are the blacks who are always hollering about affirmative action is racism against white people and those kind of black. The Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum, uh, uh, and different Angela Stan King types. Even though, from what I understand, she supporting Senator Kennedy now. So she left the Trump trains. So
Mhm.
she's kind of like Omarosa, want to like flip flop on that side, the right side. But my point is this: okay, trust me, uh, Kamala. Okay, here's the issue with the people. I guess it mostly affected the residents of California. They say she locked up more black people. Now, yeah, there might have been. They always say this one case of a black man who was innocent who didn't file his paperwork in time. If that's all you got to say she's not qualified, then hey, come with some more stuff because District Attorney in San Francisco, Attorney General of California, uh, VP on the Democratic ticket, Senator, U.S. Senator, all voted for by citizens of city, state, and federal government. So for people saying she's not qualified because what one black man got waited in prison. Yeah, I'm not saying it was right for him not to get a waiver or whatever, even if he did file his paperwork in time. But that's the only story I hear. A black man had to sit in prison because he filed paperwork late. There's rules for everything. If you go to court, you got to file certain paperwork, certain kind of things in time. There's a procedure for everything. I mean, one black man's story, staying in prison longer than he was. Hey, if that's all you got to say she's not qualified, here's the thing. Especially, I mean, I like Judge Joe Brown, but he ran for mayor of Memphis and he didn't win. He was disbarred by when he was running for district attorney in Memphis years ago, about a decade ago. He was disbarred by the state Supreme Court, but he's been Republican ever since then and saying he, was a Republican or whatever. But he always say the same thing about Kamala. She got to where he's very critical, saying she got to where she is on her knees, and that's to me. I mean, that's very insulting, especially for to be too black. Well, I know she's technically not all black or whatever, regardless of what she want to claim from here time, time to time. That's very insulting to say a woman who accomplished what she had educationally and politically and academically got to where she is on her knees. I mean, it's very chauvinistic.
So let me ask you this. Um, and I'm hoping that Sheree will come on here. Uh, so let's just say that it was just one black man that missed the deadline to escape a life sentence for something that it was proven that he did not do, right? Let's say it was just one that had that happen. Do you think a person should be at the helm of anything that deems somebody, and it was a white man, by the way?
Okay, so it's a white
Yeah,
man.
yeah, not that it matters. It could be cricket, right? If it
So
doesn't belong
why
to
are
you.
blacks upset then? They're thinking it was a
Well,
black man.
listen, I'm a Californian, so I got some intel. I could tell you just a minute, but I'm asking you if it was, let's pretend that it was one black man, one out of the many millions of black people in the United States of America, was one black man that stayed in prison erroneously because he filed his paperwork late. Do you, and she said no, he filed his paperwork late. Do you think she should be at the helm of anything?
Because he filed his paperwork late. It's
Yeah,
her fault.
that was the reason. He filed his paperwork too late. Now, mind you, this man is serving a life sentence for something he did not do. Was proven that he didn't do it, and she said it was too late. Too bad.
Okay, well, was she the attorney general that prosecuted him, or was he incarcerated under a prior attorney general?
She was the attorney general. So even if he was prosecuted under the prior attorney general, she is in control at that time. And it is her call to say whether he should at least get another trial, be out, even though it was proven he didn't do it. So it was her call to do that. So I'm putting the cards back on your table.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you on that, Demetri, because it was the governor's call to give him a pardon. The governor is the highest executive in the,
Who
in
does
the
it
state.
go to
So
first?
the
Wait,
governor outranked the attorney general. The governor, if he was innocent, the governor could have pardoned him.
Hold on. We putting the cart before the horse. Okay, we don't want to do that. Let's take it as small as something like Walmart. I worked at Walmart before, okay? And we can even take it at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's too, okay?
Me too. I love both.
All right, so we got some commonality here. So I think we're going to go somewhere here, okay? I worked in the lobby, cleaning the tables as a teenager in high school, and I worked the cash register. Now, let's say I'm on the cash register. A customer comes up and says, my order was wrong. Am I going to go get my manager or am I going to fix his order?
You're gonna do it as a cashier?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It starts with you. Fixing the problem initiates with you, of course.
Right.
So, I don't think that's a good.
Wait. I'm not finished. Wait. Because listen. We take things slow. We don't just ramble past. Okay. Because we need to get some understanding here. Okay. I think it's a good example because if I'm a cashier, somebody comes to me and says my order is wrong. I'm not going to go bother my manager because what is the manager doing? The manager is managing all of McDonald's. He or she don't have time to be going to get an order right that I can go walk myself to get him a large fry when he instead got a small fry. So the purpose of somebody on the lower level, let's say Kamala is the attorney general on the lower level, her job is to fix it before the governor has to get involved. But I'm glad you brought the governor up because there's a brother by the name of Kevin Cooper in California. Have you heard of Kevin Cooper?
No.
I'm going to tell you about Kevin Cooper. Kevin Cooper is a black man that is more than likely falsely accused for murdering a family in Chino Hills in the 1980s. I was a child when that happened, and everybody and their mama, I lived in a town not too far from Chino Hills, and were afraid of Kevin Cooper because the media pinned him out to be this crazy Negro running around killing people. Now, this was in the early 80s. Now, mind you, he was already serving a bid in Chino for some burglary or something like that. He escaped. And they pinned the murder of this family and the family's neighbor's son on him. Now, all this evidence has come out that it was somebody else who did it. The person who was accused of who did it, his girlfriend said, here are his clothes with the blood and everything of that, particular murder scene and everything. All this evidence came out. And even with that, Kamala says, I don't care nothing about it, to the point to where Governor Brown at the time, before Gavin Newsom, says, you know what? We're going to give him a stay of execution. I think he had like 3 stays of execution. He finally said, I'm going to give him a stay of execution. Dianne Feinstein's got on board. I think Gavin Newsom at the time and a couple other people got on board. And then Kamala says, oh, okay. Well, then we'll go ahead and do the DNA and all that and give him a stay of execution until we find out. But she was willing to let a potentially innocent black man go to the death penalty for something he didn't do because she didn't want to use her powers to do it, and the governor had to step in. So that was something she had control of.
Okay, I see your point, and as a former Californian, I guess you being a former Californian, you're familiar with that case, and it probably made national news, and I wasn't aware of that. But in that case, yeah, I mean, if I was the attorney general, I would say, okay, if the evidence shows that this was an innocent black man, then yeah, I mean, that would be a problem too.
Do you also know that she had a lab? And I see y'all comments, and Donovan, if you could, say hello to everybody in there. Well, I'm doing some work. There was also a lab in California that was in charge of DNA testing and all of that. It was proven that it was a lot of DNA testing that was wrong. And she said they were purposely doing that. And she shrugged her shoulders at it, and they had to get her ass in line and make her hold them accountable. So you mean to tell me you think, that's why I said I'm playing devil's advocate, because I like to shake things up to get us to think. But do you really think that she's qualified to hold the highest office in the land when she would do that at at a smaller office. I mean, Attorney General of a state, I don't think it's a small job. But if she's going to the upper room, per se, at the White House, do you think she should be calling shots?
Well, I mean, like I said, those cases that that appear to be problematic on her part. If
And
she ignored, clear evidence of
I'm gonna say this
innocent
to you.
man.
I'm gonna say this to you. I'm gonna wait. Hold on. Hey, Thunder, how you doing, baby? And Rosande, how you doing? I'm gonna say hello to everybody else that came on here. If not, Donovan will, but I will try to acknowledge you. You see that under there? It says Master Debater. They don't call me that for no reason. But the only thing I'm gonna say, I love and appreciate you for coming on here, and I love and appreciate you for being in the comment section, because we know that iron sharpens iron. We're not always right. You're not always wrong. We learn from each other. But on this show, I like to go with the moniker of, as they say in the nation, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove, right? I'm a part myself, try not to say things I cannot back up. But I don't hate Kamala. I don't know Kamala as a person to like her or dislike her, but I know her policies. And I had Sheree come up. I don't know what happened. Hopefully she'll click the link again. I want her to tell y'all her story of what Kamala personally did to her. So, Sheree, if you want to come back up, I don't know what happened. I saw you came up, but it clicked off for some reason. But come back up, please.
No reparations, no vote. I'll take $1 million or $250,000 installment from either party. If I don't get it before November this year, I'm sitting this one out.
And that's it.
That's the starting deposit, just to get us to vote. If they give us that, vote.
Right. See, they gotta get $250,000 first installment, or I'm sitting. I'll be okay on voting this year. So.
Absolutely. So, okay? I'll put it back up in your Donovan. Can you put the link in the Facebook for me, please? But yes, please come back, and hey, average logical thinker, come back and see us again. We would love and appreciate you for doing that, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it wasn't around still. Oh, yeah. Thank you. And like I said, again, Dimitri, you look very beautiful, like a beautiful African brown goddess. And we have two things in common. We both worked at Walmart and McDonald's. We can't find another thing in common. I'll leave it at
that. I'm sure we could find a lot of things in common, but come back.
But I don't want Donovan to drag me all over the internet.
Donovan is not my man. Donovan is my best friend.
I know he's like a brother, so I know.
Oh,
brother and sister. It's like
Donovan's trying to give me away.
No, how about it, brother? How about
it? Okay. Oh, if you're trying to give her away, Donovan, then I'm your play nephew. Then.
Right.
Family
first. No, we can't hang out, man. Because I heard you a minute ago talking about you was going to the DR with Donovan.
No, I'm talking about just to chill. Some beautiful women down there. But hey, I just look. But when I have an eye for one woman, my eye is tunnel vision on one woman, dead laser focus on one woman. I can admire others and really admire one. So, Donovan, remember I'm your play nephew. Like, you're trying to give her away. Okay.
All right, well, come back and see us again.
Okay, no reparations, no vote.
There you go. Bye-bye. Hello, beautiful.
Hey, my peeps. What's going on with you guys?
Everything. And then we're going to tell the people about your podcast as well before you get out of here. So, Miss Rose.
Hey, long time no talk to. I miss you guys.
We miss you as well. I think you were the war zone with Gary Monroe is when we first talked to you and got your story. So, if you can tell the people about your personal experience with Miss Kamala Harris.
My personal experience is distant personal because it has to do with the policy that she driven home. So I want to get certain things straightened. She wasn't the one who came to arrest me. It was her policy as Attorney General that she put out there for the rest of her district attorneys to push truancy. And at the time, our DA in Orange County, California, was up for re-election. And he felt like it was the right thing to do to push the thing that Kamala was pushing as far as the truancy initiative in California. They made it a criminal offense. So I don't think a lot of times people understand that, yes, truancy has been on the books for ages.
Yes.
It's been on the books for decades. Probably before America was America, we was always dealing with truancy. But what make it a big difference, especially here in other states that look at it as a criminal offense? You're not going to truancy court. You're not dealing with the district. You're dealing with a criminal offense. Like you didn't stole something from somebody stole, is how they looked at it. What makes my story so unique is that my daughter has sickle cell anemia, which is one of the oldest hereditary disease in the world. Condition, I wouldn't even necessarily call it disease. It's a lifestyle for us. There is no cure. Sickle cell has been around before America was America. Sickle cell trait is here to prevent a person like myself and others like me from dying from malaria. So it's very prevalent for us to have sickle cell trait to keep us going. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the trait, because it's a form of protection against them little mosquitoes with malaria in it. When you get two traits together, makes the disease, unfortunately, 25%. And when they pushed this initiative for truancy as a criminal offense for a parent, a single parent who's caring for a child who is sick, who has a condition that's been diagnosed since birth, that had 504 plan and was working on an IEP, and I still was arrested. I have no protection to help my child get the services that she needed. They called DPS on me. They said I wasn't a fit parent. They said, oh, bring her to school first so we can determine how sick she was. Mind you, sickle cell in general has legislation on the books. There is particular legislation for people with sickle cell because of the discrimination they get, because of the medical disparities that they receive. So it's on multiple levels. So not only are they dealing with it, oh, it's a black condition, which is not true, because you have Hispanics, you have Native Americans, you have Arab, like all kind of people, even white has sickle cell. So it's mind boggling on the fact that even though with a 504 in place, they were still able to come to my home with cameras, the news media, and make it look like I was unfit mother because I wanted to save my child's life. And it was unfortunate because she was, even after my arrest, she was even more sick. So during my trial, trying to prove my innocence, which I was innocent even before they came and arrested me, but it was like I had to prove her illness. It wasn't necessarily proving the fact that, oh, I'm a good mom. It was the fact that I had to prove something that was already proven ever since she was born. And the fact that I was under doctor's care and the school did not care. The school felt like they were over the doctors, and in reality, if your doctor tell you to stay home, whether if it's a phone conversation, legally you're considered under doctor's care. You do not have to go to the actual physician for them to determine, oh, give you some Tylenol, stay home for 24 hours, drink plenty of fluids. That does not require a doctor's note. What they were telling me to do was, for every day that she was absent, I was required to have a doctor's note. Well, what they did not say in the press is that she had sickle cell, that I had documentation, that I was taking her to the doctor and she was under doctor's care. That was the part that was left out. So if you read the media stories when I was first arrested, it never mentioned her sickle cell. It never mentioned she was on a 504 plan, and it never mentioned that I was actually fighting for her to get an IEP that was denied before my arrest. They did not talk about how I fought the superintendent, the numerous of letters that I wrote to the school district way before I got arrested. They didn't discuss ever since she was in kindergarten that I had letters in place on file to show that she had sickle cell and I was in care of her and under doctor's care. There has not been a time in my child's life that she hasn't been under doctor's care. And we both know anytime she get a low grade fever of 100 point, I want to say 3, is a doctor's phone call. If she has a fever of 101, I'm going straight to the emergency room. So I was trying to understand on what premise that they have the nerves to tell me to bring my child that has a fever of 101 to say, let me see if she has a fever first before you take her to the hospital. Or let me see if she's truly in pain before you take her to the hospital. So what it boiled down to was they wanted to count her attendance. But the problem with it was she was still getting schooling in the hospital. So they do have hospital instruction. The problem with hospital instruction, what people don't know, it's governed by the district that the hospital is in. So if your hospital is in a different district than your school, then your home school cannot cross into that district. So it's very strategic on how they want teachers crossing that line. It's almost like a picket line. You do not want to cross that line. And they're very rigid about that. When you're crossing a teacher from one district to another, that because they want that money. And the whole entire time her attendance was accounted for, but it was through a different district, and that district and her home district was not combining her attendance. So it made it look as if that she was a truant, even though her attendance was being counted for in a whole nother school district.
So let me ask you this, um, and thank you for that. So I have a couple of questions. Well, first, everybody want to know, how long were you locked up for?
Well, it was a special warrant. I was technically what they considered process. What did they call it, Shayla? I was process and release. That's what it was called.
You let out on your own recognizance or something?
Yes, yes. So because Shayla was a minor and I needed to be home prior to her coming home from school. So it was a special arrest warrant.
So let me also ask you this, because the media was there.
Yes.
Do you feel like you were singled out for in a photo op? Because I know her enforcing the truancy policy was not popular. Um, so them perp walking, you said it was pretty early in the morning as well.
Yes.
That was calculative, like they did that strategically, or what, he felt singled out? Like, what was your opinion about that?
Well, it was multiple of us, so it was a truancy suite.
Mm.
And it's something where six of us, so if you really read the original story, six of us got arrested. I was the one who actually had proof and documentation on why my child is out. I was in a vehicle with another young lady. She was African American, just like me, but clearly she just didn't care, just based off of our conversation, based off of what we talked about after we was outside of the police car. It was like she really didn't care. I had to work, I couldn't get up in the morning. Our dialogues was totally two different things, but they still did not go about it the right way. They should have gave me a SARB notification. I was supposed to go to a so-called meeting. A SARB meeting is supposed to be like an intervention type thing, but it's an intervention with the police, with prosecutors, with probation officers, other teachers and administrators in the district, but may not be associated with your school. So they try to get this big old round table of people to get you to sometimes sign an agreement for your child to stay in school. What can we do to help you stay in school? But I told them there is no parenting classes for taking care of a child with sickle cell, because they were trying to introduce parenting classes. Well, I was already technically enrolled in classes because I had a newborn. So at the end of the day, the things that they were asking me to do, I was already doing prior to my arrest. So I
In essence, you weren't doing anything wrong. I mean, you had a sick
no.
child, so it's like you weren't doing anything wrong, but they made it like you were doing something wrong. But let me ask you this. How did it make you feel when you saw Kamala all over the news at the Breakfast Club and stuff saying, "Oh, nobody got locked up"? You know, it was just a thing. Nobody got locked up.
I was furious. I think it wasn't until recently that I'm learning not to be angry and be victorious, because I did win my case. It was thrown out, but it made me feel like I was worthless. afterwards. Like, where do I go from here? And I didn't know at the time Kamala had her hand in it until I got approached by news media out of the blue. We talking about 7 years later. So I got arrested in 2013. My story did not launch until 2019 when she was getting ready to announce her running for presidency. So it felt as if like they knew even when they arrested me, because how all of a sudden 7 years go by and they knew exactly where I were. It's not as if they didn't know,
Well, I
you
think
know?
with campaigns, and Donovan will tell you if I'm working with you, because I do, I work with people on campaigns, because I have a PR background. I say, is there anything I need to know about you that you wouldn't want anybody to know? You'll be ashamed. So I think maybe she just didn't tell them. Maybe they thought, well, those black women, because it was a majority of black women, from what I understand, that it happened to. They ain't nobody gonna listen to them. Ain't nobody gonna know. It ain't gonna come up. But of course, when your opposition knows that you're running, then they go and they dig and they delve and they find stuff. They're people who that is their job to go find the thing that you put under a rock in the cave. And so I believe that Kamala didn't think that was going to come out. And even when she lied, because she did,
She did.
No, I did not like them. She thought that it was, it was going to go away. And then people come to you. You mind telling your story? And
Right.
then you have to admit that y'all did get locked up.
Well,
But
the thing is, see,
arm.
it's the narrative. So the narrative she tried to portray is that she wasn't the one who slapped the handcuffs on me. That is the narrative. This is the reason why she feel like she can use it. But what people fail to forget is that she was attorney general. She was the boss. There was nobody above her. She still had to take responsibility, accountability for everybody up under her because she lit the fire. She wasn't the one that did the kaboom boom. She lit the fire and it paved the way for the person up under her to get to where she was or where she is, because that's what Tony Ruckus was trying to do. He saw how she utilized it, how she became successful behind it, and he was trying to mock her. But what happened was it low key backfired because at the time, Orange County was going through a whole situation with their court system. All their court cases got thrown out because of faulty DAs. So a lot of what was happening with the Orange County courthouse was during the time of my trial. So it was a whole lot of cases that had to be thrown out because of it.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. I know that Kamala did, as an attorney general, she doesn't really attend all court cases and stuff like that, or arraignments and stuff like that. But in your case, I do remember she did show up for the photo op, of like, you being arrested, or not that particular part, but she went to court or something when you were being arraigned, or the women that were in that group were being arraigned. Is that true, or?
I'm not for sure. There were a lot of people. When I tell you there were so many people outside my house, it looked like a circus. It was people in white suits, black suits. Like if it was some kind of sci-fi movie, it was really weird because
Sci-fi movie or TV movie?
no, literally, I want to say it Men in Black. Let me just make that kind of narrative. So it was like that's what I saw. The TV you can hear it. It was like the shutter speed. And that was my, yes. And that's why my face was so shocked, because the process leading up to it, the whole entire school year, I've been in communication with this school. So I was in shock mode. When I tell you, shock wasn't even the word for me to use, because from day one, even before I signed my daughter into that school, I was in communication.
So, and then Black America, he's taking exception to what we're saying. So he's saying you weren't locked up. But I think really the whole conversation was Kamala said that nobody, I don't know if she used the word harmed or nobody was affected by that, is what she said.
which is not true.
Correct.
Because at the end of the day, I've been fighting, whether I was fighting with the truancy, whether I was fighting to go to school, whether I was fighting to keep my daughter's child care so I can go to work or go to school. The laws and regulations does not support a person like myself or my child, even when it comes to FAFSA. Like, you cannot miss days of school. So if my child is sick, I'm losing my FAFSA of just missing 3 days of school. And it's the same rules that apply to her, except you have the criminal aspect. So a lot of these laws, when it comes to attendance, go across the board. Whether you're dealing with government assistance, they want to know your attendance. You have to submit your attendance. If you're getting any kind of cash benefits in the state of California, they want to know your attendance. They will sanction you if your child is considered truant. So whether it's that, you dealing with at your job, you can't have a bad attendance record at work. It's across the board. It's the educational system. I had to fight, even as her being in childcare. They were threatening to take away her childcare because she missed so many days, or her seat was threatened and somebody else can use her seat because she will be out for 2 weeks out of the month. So at the end of the day, it's always been a fight regarding attendance and any kind of government assistant program across the board. Whether I was held in jail for a day or 10 years, just the fact of going through the process, it is not pretty. It does something to your mental. And I did not think I will be dealing with it to this day. I thought, oh, I'm gonna be okay. It's nothing. I got this.
Oh, they didn't correct the record or none of that. It's you're still dealing with that.
I still technically has an arrest record. Yes. Technically, I do have an arrest
Exactly.
record.
Exactly. She still
Technically,
has the rest.
okay, this is the thing. And if you think about Donald Trump, even though they have summoned him, it's only one particular state that got a mugshot of him. So it's a difference when they actually just bring you a piece of paper and say, come to court, versus, oh no, we need to process you and we need that mugshot. So it's a total two different things, because you can turn yourself in and still have to go through arraignment, but not necessarily have a mugshot. You just go to court. They're going to give you a court date, but even though you're still fighting a case, you never went to jail behind it. Two different things. They fought to get Donald Trump mugshot. They fought to get his picture, but not a lot of states. Even though he got up 10 million court cases going on, see how many actual mugshots he has. That's the difference. I have a mugshot.
Yeah, and and you still live in California, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Michael, she's still in California. Yeah, and it's infuriating to hear Kamala say, "Oh, nobody was affected by that. Oh, it was just something," because she was campaigning on that, from what I understand, right? Yeah,
Yes.
she was going to sock it to people, kids missing from school, and the parents and all of that. And you're still dealing with that because they say the best apology is change behavior. She could have said, "Hey, I forget who was the new attorney general now of California," but she could have said, "Hey, do me a
Baceres. I believe it's Baceres.
Okay, yeah. Can you do me a favor? We got some people who are erroneously locked up. Reach out to Miss Peoples and expunge her record and all that. If she was really interested,
He
but
hasn't done none of that. And the funny thing is, even before my arrest, I did extensive research when it comes to the truancy, the policies that are in place. The criminal aspect of truancy only pertains to elementary school students. So if your child is in high school and ditching, the criminal aspect does not apply. So there's different levels of truancy. You have habitual truant. So there's different levels. And it doesn't take a lot of time for them to say you're a habitual truant. So now we want you to do X, Y, and Z. It's up to the district. It's up to the district and the district attorney on how they're going to handle the truancy problem in that particular county. LA County chooses not to use the criminal aspect. You have certain districts that choose not to. But again, whenever it's election year, which my arrest happened during a county election year, is when they will try to utilize the things that somebody previous them have already done a lot of research on. She had an initiative. So the truancy policy was an initiative first. So she did and put a whole lot of money into it. My arrest happened in 13. I want to say it goes back 4 years prior to that. So like 2009, that she did this extensive research and got a lot of the school districts and everybody on board with this initiative. And then she went to Arnold Schwarzenegger to say, we need to add the criminal aspect onto it. We didn't vote on it. She just got a lot of people to support her and put it in place and presented it to, at the time, the governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who actually was the one who made it law. So in retrospect, the other person who we need to be calling out is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that's not a name that you've been hearing when it comes to this truancy initiative, because he was the one who signed the bill.
Yeah, the governor.
Yes. I don't think I can watch his movies ever since my arrest.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that. The governor went in there and tore some stuff up in California. Everybody's like, oops, we made a mistake.
Yes, ma'am.
With a higher deficit than when he came in. It was so sad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. So anyway, we appreciate you, Ms. Peebles, for coming on and telling your story. But,
Well, thank you.
Now you need to tell it more often, because a lot of people just don't
really. Well, I'm getting back into telling my story more often. I'm going to be doing that on my YouTube channel. I'm actually in the process. I'm over half done with my book. Very excited about that. So it's going to be a whole like family dynamic, because it just didn't affect me. It also affected my youngest son, my significant other, his father. It affected my mom, my dad. It affected the family in general. And I can't believe to this day that it's still being talked about. And I'm thankful that it's still being talked about. I need to be a part of that conversation and to really get that law decriminalized. That is part of my mission, because we do not need education and criminal law together. I was one of the first cases going to criminal attorneys that did not understand the truancy law. So it's so much confusion, because they feel like you need to go to an educational attorney and not an actual criminal attorney, because they think it deals with the school, but it's a criminal situation. So it's very hard trying to find the correct type of representation in a situation like that. So yeah, I'm so excited about that.
Absolutely. So yeah, please come back and see us again. But yeah, you get out there, tell your story, because people need to know the truth about Kamala.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to get with you too on another thing. So I'm going to be DMing you and stuff.
Okay, yeah. I look forward to
it. And for those in the chat, I put her podcast in there on her YouTube channel. Go ahead and click that, become a member, subscribe, and let's get this thing rolling.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. You guys really made my day today when I saw the post. I'm like, oh, we're talking about Kamala today.
Girl.
It's election year. Yes, she trying to push old Biden to the side. That's what she trying to do. Okay. She trying to sound like she want to be supportive. She knows she ready for that man to croak somewhere, because his behind can't remember nothing. Trying to be, I think he got something to help him stand straight, one of them back braces. Oh. So it looked like he ready to tip on over if you ain't.
Absolutely.
We just go pray. Well, you guys have a good one. Thank you so much. And bye, my peeps. See y'all later.
All right. See you later. Brother Don.
Brother Don, welcome back. Welcome back.
Well, my brothers and sisters, how are y'all doing this evening?
We're doing well. What's on your mind this evening?
Well, I want to know if the name Jamal Truelove rings any bells for you.
That sounds familiar. Yes. Yeah, I'm familiar with him and his story.
Okay. Because I just want to say about our dear vice president. Let me just read this paragraph real quick. As a marijuana legislating supporting Trump trolling 2020 Democratic presidential candidate, U.S. Senator Harris portrays her career in law enforcement as a progressive prosecutor, an empathetic and thoughtful purveyor of help who addresses the root cause of crime rather than merely punishing the wrongdoer. Then it goes on with True Love has what to say.
Oh yeah.
But she was the
Well,
district attorney for the county of San Francisco.
But you know, he gave Biden and Harris an endorsement.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
After he
I don't know. He
locked up under her watch, he says, well, you know, I don't like what she did, but it's, you know, we can't have Trump in office. So I think they, you know, slid the brother a couple of bucks.
I don't know what they did. I know he got paid though. The city and county had to pay him after that 50-year conviction.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, it was like you said, it was her watch. And as troubling as that case was with what was presented, I mean, it had more holes in it than Swiss cheese. But the buck stopped with her because she was the district attorney and she allowed that brother to go to prison.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I got, she uses that melanin like a fur coat. When it gets cold, she puts it on. And I'm going to land there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Brother Don. Come back and see us again. And thank you for holding it down in the comment section. We got our two residents. Black America, Michael, how y'all doing this fine evening? Black America.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? It's still afternoon here in Vegas.
And I saw hold up. I saw what you said about my afro. You better tread lightly, brother. Tread lightly. But continue.
Well, you really not finna like what I'm about to say then.
I'm gonna click you off if you get the wild in.
Well, you know I don't mind. I'm still gonna watch you. I'm gonna watch you anyway.
Brother,
I just have a problem with her story. How long ago was this?
She said it was with the young girl. 2013.
2013.
Wait, hold on. Let me get 2013, and the story did not re-emerge, if you will, until 2019 when they, being, I guess, the ops of Kamala, reached out to her. So she said she didn't even know it was trending or anything like that.
Okay, because it was really, to me, it was nothing. And like I said, I don't want to take anything away from her baby being sick.
What's nothing?
Her going and having a walk. She didn't get locked up. She didn't go to jail. She didn't get any felonies. It's an arrest on her record. I have millions of arrests on my record, and I still got a job. Like, what she's talking about is absolutely nothing.
You're a truck driver, right?
Yes, I am.
Is the trucking industry a little bit more liberal when it comes to people having felonies and misdemeanors?
Yes. No. Let me answer you something. I have felonies, have been to a federal prison, and have a clearance to a security clearance to drive hazardous material. So this is not. When I got out of prison, I went and worked at the Bellagio for 15 years as a bellman. So you can't tell me. That's why I don't go easy on people when they say, oh, I got a felony, I can't do this and this, that, and the other. You can do a whole lot of stuff with a felony.
Let me ask you this, because, hooray, and all that for you. I'm glad that you was able to, make it somewhere in life with all your felonies. But did you earn those felonies?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did Miss People say that she earned those felonies?
She doesn't have a felony. She has.
I mean,
She has a record of a record of arrest.
Did she earn those records? That record?
I really want to say yes. I really want to say no. Listen. No. Can you see it from my side for 1 second?
Wait, hold on a second. If your side is woulda, coulda, shoulda in fantasy land, all that, then no. We won't deal with the facts here, because what happens is when we throw in scenarios that are not true, then we muddy the waters, and we don't like to muddy the water. So the answer is no.
I'm not muddying any waters. I was just going to tell you how I seen it, like in real time, for real, with hearing her story from my point of view. I mean, but I won't do that. So I'll just go with you. I'll say yes.
So you said she earned that felony. I mean that charge.
I'm going to switch my statement and agree with you. I'm trying to agree with you today, so I'm gonna just agree with you today. I don't want to have an opinion if it's going to ruffle any feathers. I didn't realize that this was a silo, that everybody had to have the same opinion.
Wait, no. I like what you did there, but that's what we're gonna call tricknology right there. It ain't that you can't have your opinion. As I always say, don't come up here lying and making up stuff. That's all I'm saying. That if you study her story, which you have not, and you heard it straight from her, that she did not earn or deserve what happened to her. She had a copious amount of paperwork and everything to say that her child should be excluded from that. So she had things to back it up. She was erroneously arrested and given a record. Here she says she lost her job because of it, even though it was not a felony. So I'm telling you, and there's been copious amount of articles and stuff to say that she did not deserve what happened to her.
She lost her job.
Well, you know,
she lost her job from being arrested.
There's a lot of people who lose their jobs from being arrested, even though they have not gone to court or been found guilty. That's not unusual.
That seems highly suspect. Just from me.
Wait. How you got all these felonies and stuff, and you don't know something as simple as that?
That's what I'm saying, because I do have these felonies. I'm from Los Angeles, live in Las Vegas. I do have these. You act like I don't have any experience in this said field. You're not going to.
Wait, no, I didn't say that, but I'm saying I find that's highly suspect. That somebody would lose their job because they got arrested. That's not unusual. So
it's very unusual. Hell, we just had a firefighter get arrested for drunk driving. He didn't lose his job.
Okay, but that just because that man didn't lose his job don't mean that people don't lose their jobs. You see how we don't deal in absolutes?
I understand what you're saying, Miss Lee. I completely do. But what I am saying is, unless she had, which it doesn't sound like she had, because of what her story was, is she was on FESPA and, reduced rent and all of this other stuff. It doesn't sound like she had a high security clearance job, that she was a G13 or G36 or anything like that. Hold on 1 second. So how is she going to lose a job?
Well, okay, listen. You can't move the goalposts and talk about, well, she wasn't working up in the White House, so it didn't really count. If she was working as a crossing guard, if she lost that job, it was a job that was putting income into her household, and it's not up to you to deduce what type of job she lost.
Okay, I agree with you there. See, we agree. I agree with you. Love that. Okay, I agree with you there. But what I'm saying, a simple walkthrough, a half an hour walkthrough where you get fingerprinted and then you're free. I don't see that barring somebody from getting a job. I mean, I just don't see it. I have never seen it. It's not something that happens.
Can I ask you this?
That I know of.
Can I ask you this? And I'm gonna let Michael speak. Are you omnipresent? Are you all knowing?
I am a child of God, so I
No,
mean,
no, back it up, brother.
I'm
Back it up.
connected.
Back it up,
Uh,
brother. Are you on
we
me?
all children of God. Come
That,
on, Miss Lee. That's a
that,
silly question.
all right. So then how the hell you know what she been through? Because you ain't seen it.
Okay, Miss D, have you ever in your 52 years uh, known anybody that got arrested for bull crap, which this is bull crap, and lost their said job? I'm just asking.
Have I known somebody who got arrested? Yes, I have. Yes, I know people who have gotten arrested before. Oh, he clicked it. The ancestors won't they do it? I didn't do it. The ancestors did. Michael, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. How about you, Demetri and Donovan?
We're doing well. You better not be saying not one thing about reparations in this comment right
I'm
here.
not. I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not. It's going to be very pertinent to the guest you had earlier. She was very very inspirational, very informative. But just to expand on what Black America said about why some people were able to keep a jobs after being convicted, and I think he's missing a point. It's systemic because from what I researched, yes, that's true that the courts do expunge people's records, right? But when they do look for jobs, private employers don't necessarily use the same background database systems that the courts use, and I've noticed from research because the employers use a private database, and it doesn't really capture everything. So the court said that yeah, his records his record was expunged because the evidence were considered, but from employers' point of view, they don't consider it because they're using something that's like privately owned and privately operated. So both systems don't communicate with each other.
Got you. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
And then here's something also when you're talking about expunge. Unless it's the government's fault and you won in a government case, you can get any record expunged. It's just going to cost you. You, the individual, can get your record expunged, but it's going to cost you some money. And that's another way the state makes money off of you, even if you want your thing cleared.
And we ain't gonna keep going back and forth with Black America. I think he is. If there's an award for the biggest internet troll, he is surely up in the running. He should be nominated for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, Michael, you had anything else to add before I let you go?
So I would say this: like when you asked earlier about your guest, does she deserve a record? Does she deserve? What was the question you asked earlier? I'm trying to understand about the record you asked earlier, Demetra.
Mm-hmm. So you say that again. Ask that again.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Because you asked Black, I noticed when you asked Black America, does she deserve that record or not?
Mm-hmm.
If I understand this correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, and I say yeah, and think about after listening to what you and Black America said, and of course Donovan, I think that woman should not have a record because she's trying to do the right thing to support the daughter, especially what's been going on with her, and because our current government policies are not very flexible, especially I'm sure you notice with certain demographics, especially with Black people, but for other demographics, they're okay. So I definitely know for sure it's definitely a systemic, and it's I don't like to use the R word, but I'm going to say I also say it's systematically and racially biased.
Oh, absolutely. That we know for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't want to go on there so earlier today because I knew you wanted a new guest. So I didn't want to take so much of your time.
No, well, I appreciate you for that. So come up and see us again.
All right, Donovan.
All right, Mike.
All right, don't forget Donald Trump, and don't forget Donald Trump is contacting both of you. He wants to offer you $50 million.
See, that's why you don't be coming up here because you be all right until you say stuff like that. That is not true, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what are you gonna say, Donovan? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna say? I knew you were about to say something, Donovan. I didn't want to interrupt before I was about to head out.
Yeah, I was going to say something to Demetra in regard. So in regards to Kamala Harris, Demetra, what is your take?
I'm sorry. Let me let Michael.
Yeah, you gotta let me off. Yeah,
I'm gonna let you go.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye bye.
So in regards to this topic, do you think Kamala Harris is ready to be president?
No. I don't think she's ready to be president. And like I said, it has nothing to do with me thinking that, because she's gotten on her knees to get to where she is. Is that some of that in play? I'm sure it is. But now, listen, don't take this the wrong way. There's a lot of women that got on their knees for a chicken McNugget. So if you're getting on your knees, it might as well be where she's at. However, I do not think she is qualified. I think that to be a leader, sometimes you are devoid of compassion, but I think you should have some. The president is a leader, and you should be compassionate toward people. She's very devoid of compassion, especially for Black people. So we always want to look from a point of view of Black people as to, who's going to office and if they deserve that role. And I don't think she likes Black people very much. I just don't. I don't think that she likes Black people. I think that she has gotten what she needs from saying that she's Black, going to Howard and all those kind of things, running in circles, with Black people and being with Black men. That's, helped her get to places, because Willie Brown said himself, if it wasn't for me, she would not be where she is. And I believe that a lot of that is true. Her being his mistress out in the open, I should say, I think that came with a lot of benefits. But again, this is a different show. But I always say, if you're going to be a side piece, God damn it, get something for it. Okay. Don't have somebody coming over to your house with a Little Caesars pizzas and 2 minutes of fun. Get to the highest office in land or the second highest office in land if you're going to be doing that kind of stuff. But I don't condone it. I'm just saying, no, she's not qualified. We've seen Kamala on the world stage and stuff. And, y'all notice what do they have Kamala doing now? If you've been paying attention, what is Kamala doing now?
She's running around advocating for female deletion rights
of their babies. Abortion. Is that something that's helpful to the Black community? Because we need our numbers to grow too. Everybody else's community is growing, but yet they really want to get out that message to Black people, Black women, to get rid of your baby, because for them it's cheaper, because that way there's not another life on the system and all that other stuff. You guys got to do, as they say in the nation, study history, where that even came from. Margaret Sanger, the Negro Project, the eugenics program, that was to get rid of Black people and other people who were considered to be a burden on society. After slavery ended, we were no longer an asset. We were a deficit, if you will. So they came up with that project to sterilize women and a whole host of other things. And unfortunately, it got a lot of these Black leaders, and some of them were in the NAACP. And one of them that was on board with the eugenics program was that of Martin Luther King Jr. In fact, he took an award from Margaret Sanger via his wife, Coretta. And he told Coretta to tell them when he was getting the award that I shall deem this as one of my most cherished or prized possessions for that award. Now, mind you, 30 years before he got that award, Margaret Sanger went on record, y'all can look it up, saying that we need to find a Negro preacher that is very trusted in the Negro community to go forth with the eugenics message. And that was Martin Luther King Jr. Some of y'all get mad and call me a liar, but y'all can look those things up yourself and see if it's true. So I say all that to say they got, I was about to say Mariah Carey for some reason. That was weird. Kamala Harris going around the country, hollering about reproductive rights. But we know that is very detrimental to the Black community, right? If you believe the numbers, it says that we have not grown in population since the 60s. We're around the same area, but everybody else's community is growing, but not the Black community. Why? Now, we know it's not just the reproductive rights is what they're calling it. We know it's mass incarceration, is the murder, wholesale murder of Black people, and, the homosexual. And I'm not saying anything against the LGBTQ community, if you will, but that has a lot to do with it. If you with a man with a man, or a woman with a woman, unless you're doing some other stuff, you cannot procreate. So there's a lot of things in play. So just listen to people when they tell you the things that they're championing. Listen to Kamala, because I hate to tell y'all this. Y'all may not want to hear it. It's a very strong possibility that she may be the president of the United States. Because Joe Biden, I put everything I own, which is 2 pencils and a piece of bubble gum, that Joe Biden is not going to live out to or be able to fulfill another term if he's able to do this one. I'm just going to go on record and say, I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, let me ask you this, and just a wild scenario. We are about 8 months from the election, and Joe Biden has been exposed now. People see that there is a cognitive decline. There is something going on. The convention hasn't happened yet. Do you think it is possible that the Democrats will use a switch up at the convention and because Kamala Harris isn't very popular, if you're going to switch up, wouldn't that be a good time to bring somebody else in? And if they would bring somebody else in, who can they bring in that Black people will get behind? Because as we know, if the Democratic Party loses 20% of the Black vote, they can't win. It won't matter. It won't matter who they bring in. Right now, they're saying it's between 22 and 27% of Black voters are either going to sit it out or not, or are going to vote for Trump. So if you have an idea of somebody in the Democratic Party, and that's another problem that we have in both parties, nobody could really name a rising Democratic star that could come in and be dramatic, because you got Pelosi and Jim Boy Clyburn slapping all the young people down and stuff, and the young people that are out there have been so exposed as bootlegs. Who would it be, in your opinion, that can do it? Some people say Michelle Obama. Well, what do you think?
And I want to address this. I see a lot of people calling her Michael. Again, y'all been King Shaw. You've been following this show and part of the show for a very long time. Y'all know I don't like to do that. Y'all know Michelle Obama is not a man, and I think it's hateful. And I'm not saying you're hateful, but I'm saying I think it's hateful to continue to call her a man when she is not a man. Because what happens is
I met her and she is not a man. Trust me, that is all beautiful woman. Trust me.
Yeah, and to go on with things like that, it takes away from the issues at hand. Now, as far as who I don't think it'd be Michelle, because she's been very demonstrative that she does not want the job. She said, y'all will not like me in that position because I'm not so nice as my husband, right? And we just know there's a lot of people, regardless of what they say. We saw even with Hillary, and we talk about this a lot. Hillary, you had her slogan was "I'm with her," and a lot of those white women went and got in the booth and got with Trump. So they didn't even want Hillary Clinton to be. And of course, I know they blame Black people for Hillary not getting in office, but it was white women. White women went and voted for Trump, so they're not going to vote for Michelle. Don't nobody they'll tell y'all that the Black woman is the backbone of the Democratic Party. That's the symbolism too, because they don't want her Black ass in that White House, okay? Telling nobody what to do. There ain't nobody gonna answer to no Black woman at that level. It's just a fact. They're not. And God forbid, Kamala, who she says she's a Black woman, something happens to Biden, they will be under the tutelage, if you will, of Kamala. But I can see the Gavin Newsom angle. I can see that Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, he's very progressive. I will say he is more progressive than most Democrats out there. He just is. I like some of the things that he does, but I dislike a lot of the other things that he does. It's like giving $2.6 billion to immigrants in California, no matter what their status is in healthcare, right? They're going to get that no matter what it is. But I can see them setting him up to be the governor. He's likable amongst Democrats, although there's a lot of people in California who don't like him. I would say a lot of people who are on the conservative side. Gosh, I can't really think of too many other people. They're not going to put another Black man in the White House. They just not. They're not. Obama was it. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I don't think they like him much, which is why he went to be an independent, because he was running as a Democrat. What's the Cornel West? He done dropped off. Where is the man?
Yeah, and speaking of Cornel, I'm going to cut you off real quick in this answer. Jill Stein just qualified for 5% of federal funding in the election. Now, why is that? Jill Stein, she's running in the thing. Why is that important? Because that has never happened for a third party to get federal funding, because they never make the percentages. So that also tells you there's a bunch of people that are just dissatisfied with both of these parties.
And I'm going to address that too. How you doing, Miss Sweet Talk? Jill Stein, yeah, she was an independent as well. I don't think she's going to be successful either. Yeah, it's noise at this point. So I definitely.
But it tells you the dissatisfaction the American people are having with this election.
And to answer your question, I think the DNC has had a lot of conversations about the capacity of Biden. We know that they don't like Kamala because there was a lot of conversation within the DNC saying that they wanted to actually replace Kamala as the VP, but that's never been done in history. And so they don't want to be the first to do it with a black woman, on top of all of that. So I see Gavin is probably as a really good chance that they would tap into him. At this point, anybody really could be vice president. But as far as Trump and Scott, I don't think that Trump has a lot of respect for Scott. I mean, I like to read body language. When Tim Scott from South Carolina, the senator, went up to him, but I love you. Trump was like, it almost like he wanted to say NP or N-word, please,
or better yet, get on your knees.
Yeah, he was even looking, like, how embarrassing, right? But as far as who will be the VP to Trump, I mean, it could be somebody black. Some people are saying it could be Vivek Ramaswamy. He may be because he's a billionaire and all of that other stuff. I don't know. I don't think he'll put a black person on the ticket, but he might. But the other thing is this. The other thing is, as far as putting a black person on the ticket, a lot of black people don't like Trump, although he's moving up in the polls. And if he was smart, he wouldn't put a bootlicker, if you will, on the ticket with him, because that will turn people off.
Oh, but see, that's the conundrum of the Democratic Party. It's like you have to go with a name you need to know. Then you got to go with the name you need to know, and there's no other person that they've elevated and put in a position where they can swap it out that would be accepting to the Democratic Party. But however, as we know, both parties don't give a damn about black people. And I'm going to tell you guys this: always remember this. If I'm voting punitive. For them to get my vote, there better be something in my account, because again, I am not going to vote for the lesser of two evils. They're both evil. It doesn't matter at this point. The Democrats cannot win without the black vote. So if you need my vote is for sale. If I don't have a deposit from the federal government in my account, they're not getting my vote at this point, because we should not fall for well, you get me in there and we'll get you qualified immunity. You get us in there, we're going to get you the George Floyd bill. You get us in there. No, we're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that. Every group has gotten what they wanted, even the smaller groups. So, when I talk to my Republican friends and, my conservative friends, I always tell them, go to the Asians and get their vote. Go to the LGBTQ, get their vote. Why do you keep, putting the onus on black people? No, we're not going to do it. At least I'm not going to do it. Go to the illegal migrants and get their vote, but stop bothering black people.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Leonard, how you doing? I'll be seeing some of your stuff on YouTube. You be going in. But how you doing? He says, why y'all think Michelle had to rent a prom date? Nobody at Whitney Young High School was willing to date her. There's a lot of people who didn't get a prom date. But what is your point, my brother? What is your point? There's a lot of people. But guess what she did get? She got to marry a man who will become the president of the United States. And Michelle Obama is very accomplished herself. Okay, she's not just some dude. Whatever I do.
Fannie Willis? No, I'm joking. she married the guy that she hired.
I mean, I'm just saying, she, there's a lot of people that get prom dates, but they run the world right now, or close to people who are. So they don't make me defend Michelle Obama. I used to love Michelle Obama. I love her gracefulness and her classiness and all that other stuff. But when she got
the shoulders are for real. She has them nice, beautiful shoulders.
Yeah, she said that she lifts 35s. And so my daughter and I were in the store, and I was like, damn, I need to get some heavier weights. And I lifted a 35. I was like, damn, that's a strong ass woman right there. Because I was like, and she's, one day.
And she could play spade and bid whiz. If you guys sit down with her, she will sit down there and do it with you. She'll do it with you.
And Ragnar, how you doing? He says, I think the Democrats will look to Senator Manchin. I don't think so. I think he really more like a Republican. He just ain't came out the closet yet. The woke breaker, how you doing? Says, you're saying Scott is a bootlegger. You don't think you go up to a man in the middle of his speech and he's, saying whatever he's saying, but I love you.
And
What?
then and then the definition of a bootlicker, the very person that appointed him senator, he doesn't support. So where's the political payback that you're supposed to do? I couldn't trust a man like that when you won't even support the very person that puts you in the position that you're in.
Tim Scott is a bootlicker. A bootlicker. He's a bootlicker. In fact, not just does he lift the top of the boot, he licks the bottom of the boot. Okay, he is. Tim Scott does not like black people either. I would converse with anybody any day. I know he tried to get up in the black congressional black caucus, but that don't prove anything either because them people don't like black people in there either. So you know what I mean? And wasn't Tim Scott the one time about America's not racist? But then he cried about somebody was being racist to him or something.
Well, I got a better question for you guys out there. What state is Tim Scott representing?
South Carolina.
What state does Jim Clyburn represent?
South Carolina.
So you mean to tell me you got two Negroes on both sides of the aisle that don't care for black people? Wow. What state of affairs we are in America.
Bootlickers. Van Tran, yes, I will give you a wrench, but as I say to my moderators, if people are being annoying, we don't want to block them because I believe that people should stay and get enough information to where they may change their mind. Now, if they just doing the most, then yeah, y'all please get them up out of here, put them in timeout or whatever. Y'all make that decision. But people are just being annoying, having a differing of opinion. They're not calling names, stuff like that. We want to, just say, hey, play nice or whatever. If they don't play nice, then yeah. So I'll put this down to give you a wrench. Brooklyn Bandit. How you doing? He says, I wouldn't vote for Michelle either because she talks down on black men. Yeah, she's mad at black people for not helping Hillary get in there like her husband. It's like, well, deal with it. You got all that money, go to Martha's Vineyard and cry about it. I don't know. Right?
And then when those migrants showed up, they're like, get them up out of here.
Yeah, all up. It can't be up here in Martha Vineyard, but you can go to them black people's neighborhood all day, Yeah, easy. You talk about Tim Scott ain't black. What is he? He's a gopher. He looks like a gopher to me. I'm not being mean, but he does. He reminds me of a gopher. I mean, somebody said I look like a frog, so I don't know. I don't take that personally. He looks like a gopher to me. Maya, how you doing? Says Donovan, agree with you. I cannot cash a photo of Harris or Justice Jackson to pay my mortgage. Right. Symbolism. Good point. All right. Yeah, we crazy. Papa says Scott rented that white chick. She's a good old Christian gal. I'm gonna, and he asked her to marry him.
Yeah, but she's got like 3 or 4 kids.
And do she? Yeah,
I think she's got 3 or 4 kids, and she was in either bankruptcy court or something for some kind of fraud her and her ex-husband had perpetrated or something. Don't quote me on that, but it was something she was in court, her and her ex were involved in.
If that's true, he essentially went on Craigslist and found somebody who needed a job. I mean, listen, if the man, they're trying to say maybe he, he's got little rainbows and stuff. If he does, that's his business, but
everybody needs a beard. Everybody needs a beard.
Yeah, to strive for the highest position in the land, they like you to have a wife. So yeah, you probably went on Craigslist to do that. And the Walk Breaker says, I stumbled upon this. I like to ask questions, and we love you to ask questions, and we like to answer them. No harm, no foul. We just getting along here. But let me lose this doggone accent. I'm from Southern California. Shan, how you doing? I hope you are doing well. Black America says most men won't vote for a woman. I agree with you on that. But, a lot of them did. For Hillary, they actually did. Vote for her. She didn't win. You know what? I didn't say Bucky Beaver now, Pop. I said he look like a gopher. He do.
I cannot wait till election night and see the look on the Democrats' faces, just like when Hillary lost. Just the utter shock that they got beat the way they did. You should have seen the people in the audience. You could go on YouTube and look at that thing. That was like a total surprise that these people, they couldn't believe they lost. And this is what's going to happen in this election cycle. Unless, of course, they run us the money. If the Democrats really want to win, all they got to do is start making those deposits into the black people's accounts. To start making those deposits, start writing executive orders. That's all he's got to do, specific to black people, lineage-based black people. And he's going to win. The Democrats will win. But notice they're not doing it. They refuse. They would rather lose than give black people money to better the condition that they're in. They would rather lose. So that tells you a lot about the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I mean, and they're losing more and more black voters every day. I saw a poll that says that Trump is sitting at a strong 16. It is said that he could get upwards of 30% of the black vote. And Democrats can't afford to lose. And you got to also take into account, it's just not black people that are disenfranchised with the Democrats. It's now the Muslim community there in Minnesota, due to what's going on in the Gaza Strip. They have rallied together and said, you will not get a vote from us. That's also going to harm the Democrats. So I don't know. I say if the Democrats do win the White House, I think it'd be a miracle, but I think they're going to have somebody up in there. But black people, a lot of black people, like we not on the train with the vote blue no matter who. So if they get in the White House and they ain't talking about helping black people specifically like they help everybody else, then we still going to, either Trump, I'm saying we collectively vote for Trump or sit on the couch.
And then, Demetri, let me ask you this, and people in the chat, give me your opinion. If the Democrats, for some reason, lose, what do we have to lose? What do we have to be afraid of? Wouldn't that make us more like we did in Trump's first term? Because we've already seen what Trump's first term was. He wasn't specifically targeting black people at all. He wasn't. So wouldn't you agree, Demetri, that this might, again, wake us up rather than put us to sleep as the Biden administration has done?
Yeah, we need to be awakened, because it has rocked black people back to sleep. They told us that Trump was the boogeyman. Oh, he's a big, scary orange dude. He is pretty scary and orange, but that he's harmful to black people and all this other stuff. And when Biden got back up in there and says, y'all stood, you had my back, I'm gonna have yours and all that, he ain't said another kind thing really about black people or what he was gonna do for black people since, right? So you're right. The Democrats don't get in office, it's not gonna hurt us. It's not like we was gaining anything from them being in there in the first place. Trump gets in office, I mean, we're still essentially, if he doesn't do anything for black people, gonna be in the same spot. But the point is, the Democrats depend on the black vote. The Republicans don't. And so it'd be more like a protest. You ain't getting my vote because you're slapping black people in the face, giving everybody else something but us. And we help you do it. So we got to take some of that ownership as well. We help the Democrats get in there and help everybody else by continuing to vote for them. I'm going to vote blue no matter who, and twerking and no fucking and fish frying and they're taking the stripper buses to the polls and having them all up in the pool pit, the glory and all of that. That's all we get for it. Once we get that little sticker, I voted, then they say, all right, see you later, sucker. See you in 4 more years.
2 to 4 years, every 2 and 4 years. Yeah, we'll see you.
Yeah, so Thunder, you say, DK, are you keeping up with foreign affairs? Things aren't looking good, so we should really keep an eye on things. I'm keeping up to it. I tell everybody this: if you want to stay abreast of what's going on, it's kind of like a cheat sheet. Listen to NPR. I've always listened to NPR in my car for as long as I can remember. I have people get in my car. What are you listening to? Why are you listening to that? Because I'm learning about what's going on in the world, right? So I am keeping up on a lot of stuff. And I personally use my car as my office to learn of different things, foreign and domestically.
And I want you guys to remember this too. When you guys look at politics, now they just passed a bill through Congress, and Biden administration was fighting and negotiating, and he's fighting hard for it. Now, he didn't have to throw student loans to Congress to do that. He didn't have to do that. But notice that when he wants to give money to other things, other than black people and reparations, they are willing to fight and negotiate, just like the George Floyd bill and qualified immunity. We tried to negotiate, whatever. They just give up and that's the end of it. Well, we tried and that's the end of it. But when they want to give trillions of dollars, they sit in the trenches and fight for it and go around it and find any loophole that they can to give the money who they want to give the money to. But when it comes to Black issues, they give it a symbolic look at it and a try, then they say, oh, well, we're done. Thanks. We tried, you guys. They're obstructing us. They're doing this. Oh, the filibuster. Where was the filibuster just now in giving that aid package to Ukraine? Where was the filibuster for that? See, we got to really look at how they play these games with us, because you got to remember, this is your money. This is our money. They're just giving it away.
Yep, every day. And hello, only Pamela's way. And Maya says Black Boule is afraid of losing power and political clout. If Dems lose, if they cannot deliver votes, why keep them on the payroll? You said it, I did not. You said it, I didn't. Easy said D, they bought votes with student loan forgiveness. Why not reparation payments secretly? Yeah, and then they only did it for some people. They didn't do it for all student loan borrowers, which they should, right? Shanny say vote for brothers Phil Scott for president and Sister Demetria K for vice president. I don't think neither one of us want that job, but I get it though. Thank you for your sentiment. And Miss B, how are you doing today? And let's see who else came on here, because we about to get out of here. But before I go, and the woke breaker, you say, now where'd it go? Qualify, please. What are Black issues exactly? Not being facetious, just trying to see where you are coming from. I'm going to say this because I don't have a lot of time. Black people have a lot of issues. For one, we can just start and stop with this. We want our money. You might be wondering, what is your money? We want our reparations, our 40 acres and a mule. Okay. Some people don't want a mule. Some people want a car, a tractor, or whatever, right? The mule was the premise of helping to till the land and all that. So we'll take a tractor. You know what I mean? We want our money. The Black issue is that if we do not get our money, reparations, it is going to take more than 232 years to close the wealth gap between Black and white people. White people on average have a wealth of, I don't know, $170-something thousand in wealth. Black people have less than, I don't know, 10 at this point. So we need that infusion of cash. That is part of our issues. We are now a permanent underclass because of our ancestors robbed of their labor and the land and everything that was promised to them. In fact, and I maybe you're white, I don't know. But white slave owners, they in fact got reparations for losing their slaves, right? So they got even more something they stole. Also, another Black issue is we got mass incarceration. Black people are still the number one harmed and murdered via FBI statistics in the United States of America. We do not have a hate crime bill. We would love one because everybody else got one. I could go on forever if you like.
Right. Qualified immunity is a Black issue where we can hold these race soldiers accountable.
I mean, to the FBI statistics of us being the most harmed.
Right. The homeless issue, 50% of all homeless in the United States, Black people. So, I mean, we have a whole plethora of Black issues that they can address.
Yeah. So, but if you run us our money, shoot, we'll take care of the rest. But, you know, anybody who study any history in America in regards to Black Americans, you know what was done to us. It is, we don't want no funk ass. Yeah, I said funk ass apology. We don't want that. Keep your apology. As I said earlier, and as I've also heard, the best apology is change behavior, right? And correct what you did if you have the ability to do it. So it's not that if the United States government has the ability to correct what they have done to Black people, because we see them correcting stuff and giving stuff to people they've not done stuff to. So we as Black people want our money. Those are part of the issues we have. And Leon, how you doing? It says 80% of our people don't have a world or a political IQ. We also don't understand white supremacy. White supremacy has to be studied forensically. I think that's what you're saying. But you're absolutely right. We all need to get a little bit more knowledge. As I said, the best cheat sheet is to turn on NPR. I think they're pretty in the middle, of telling what is going on. And you'll at least have a start of what's going on, because a lot of people don't know what's going on. Find out what's going on, and then you can form your own opinion, if that makes any sense. And so I hope that I've addressed everybody that's come on here. And please forgive me that if I did not. But Donovan and I are going to get out of here. Evelyn, if I didn't, he said, how you doing? Hello, Mike Lewis. Tito, what's going on with you? All right. Yeah, you can't eat an apology. Take your apology and shove it hard. Now that's not very ladylike, but let me get back into that. All right. So again, before we leave here, I want to just remind y'all tomorrow, that we have this show coming up, and it is. Let me take this down. With love, Demetra K. Of course, y'all know that traditionally it is our Wealth Wednesday. How you doing, old school? If I didn't already, our Wealth Wednesday. Walter, he comes and goes. He's a very busy man. So if he wants to join us on this show, we would love to have him. But again, this show is something that you guys have been asking me to do for years. And so I am going to acquiesce to see how it is going to go. But if you have a scenario, you want to come on here and put yourself out there, say, hey, I'm single and looking and all that, you could do that. If you want to come on here and say, hey, this is my scenario, can you help me? You can do that as well. If you want to send an email, and you can send it anonymously if you don't want to be known, and we'll read it and try to solve it. But the premise of the show is to solve issues. It's not got you or you crazy, you a pick me, you a simp. We don't do that here, okay? I promise you, give you my word that we will not do that. This is all in love because we want to help each other grow and find somebody if that's what you're looking for and everything in between. So we do have somebody that is going to come up and give us their scenario. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, oh, Easy, you got me some candy and roses. Is it sugar free? But anyway, so
yeah, and also before we go, please check out. I put it in the chat. Cherie Peoples' podcast page on YouTube, and also check out your Average Logical Thinker. She's been dropping some gems on her page, so I've got the link for that as well. So you guys, if you guys do have web pages and you guys are doing content, anything that you guys do, if it's positive, helps the diaspora in general. And we're about adding and helping get your numbers up and do all that other great stuff. But those are two great things you guys should check out and see what they have to say.
Absolutely. So it's been a pleasure. We love and appreciate every last one of y'all dearly. Thank you for coming up or in the comment section, the moderators, everybody that contributed to the show. We love and appreciate you. Of course, Donovan, thank you as much as well. And Donovan, I don't need to invite you on tomorrow's show. You want to come on, you are more than welcome to do that. But in the meantime, we will see y'all tomorrow. This is going to be exciting. Hopefully we can continue it. But again, y'all asked for it. I didn't. Peace.